When I first tried one of these compact fluorescent lamps, I found it produced a different kind of light. It took ages to warm up, and I couldn't use them with the dimmer switches around my home. Mind you, that was 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm told that the technology and the product designs have evolved rapidly. I spoke with Adrian Kitching recently to find out what's been happening in this field. Adrian is an acknowledged expert in these things. He's the sales director of Megaman UK, one of the world's largest manufacturers of low-energy lamps, and a technology leader. What he had to say certainly made me think again.
Compact fluorescent lamps use an opaque coating on them because of the phosphor coating inside. So they do look very different to traditional lamps, where generally the light comes from a point source. So you do get the same amount of light from the lamp, it's just radiated over a bigger surface area. So it's a common misconception that they can actually look less bright, but that's not true. They're equally the same. They give equally the same amount of light as traditional tungsten lamps.
Well, maybe they do when they're on, but for example, you know, I've got lots of dimmer switches in my house. Now, I like to be able to control the bulbs, and you can do that with traditional bulbs. But you can't do that with yours, can you?
There are a range of dimming lamps available now. Yes, the technology does exist. We're just starting to see that filter through into the retail trade now. So from an industrial point of view, commercially, they've been available for about 18 months now. But yes, the technology does exist to dim lamps in a smooth, linear way.
And yet, when you look at the type of light that comes out of them, you say people think it's a bit dimmer. Other people think it just looks cold and harsh. You know, it's like having fluorescent tubes on all over the place. And that's not what you want to create a warm atmosphere.
No, that's true. I think there's been a very difficult situation where lower cost lamps have been available on the market and have been given away by the government. There's a whole variety of lamps that are available now that have different colour temperatures, and actually you can get lamps now that give a warm glow. All Megaman lamps have the colour temperature to match the same colour as the bulbs that you would have traditionally at home, so you should notice no difference at all. And
yet when you try to read with them, for example, let's say the light's down a little bit, you've created that warm atmosphere, and they flicker, because they're not the usual sort of coil that we expect. How do you get around that problem?
Well, again, I would actually say that that's probably an older lamp that's been used. Modern lamps now work on a high frequency, so the human eye can't actually detect that at all. So it's more than likely to be something in the background, perhaps a television. But I suggest you try a new modern lamp.
You know, what about putting them in these out-of-the-way places, you know, under stairwells and in corners and things like that? You've got these bulbs, they're a peculiar shape. It's quite difficult, isn't it, to put them where we could always put a small light bulb previously.
Yes, that's true. As manufacturers develop their ranges, there's an awful lot of different formats now that are available. Lookalike GLS lamps, candles, golf balls. So you should be able to find an energy-saving lamp to replace any lamp that's currently situated in your house.
Really? Because, you know, when I look, you go to a hotel, right, and they've got these energy-saving lamps, and they're usually spirals. Daft-looking spirally things. They do not look like bulbs.
No, there's many different formats that are available. Spirals are a current trend in the last 12 months. They're becoming more popular on the market, particularly for people who want to increase the wattage. So, for instance, if you want to change a 60-watt lamp for an 11-watt lamp, you could put a 14-watt spiral in instead, because it's more or less the same size. So if you just wanted an extra boost or a little bit more of light output, then the spiral is a good option for using that sort of lamp.
And have you thought through or even been aware of the difficulty that people have when, you know, with traditional bulbs, you've got a bayonet that you can just sort of stick in and it works, or a cap, that sort of thing, which you don't seem to, they're not as frequent, not as common with these new bulbs?
Most of the compact fluorescent lamps now come with traditional BC caps, bayonet caps or screw-in caps. It's true that the bayonet cap is more of a UK phenomena, but we are getting many more fittings coming into the UK now that use the screw-in cap, and most of the retailers do support that. If you need any advice, it's a very good website. The Energy Saving Trust website can give you all sorts of different formats and shapes and give you information about what's available. available.
So the old days where you had, let's say, an energy-saving bulb, but it had a very strange connector at the bottom that would only fit the lamp that you'd bought.
Yes.
And when the bulb went, you tend to throw the whole thing out.
Yeah.
Those days have definitely gone.
For the general householder, absolutely, yes. That type of lamp is still popular from a commercial point of view, so that you're not wasting the electronics that are in there. So supermarkets, retail, the leisure industry. But for general domestic household, an integrated lamp is a much better way forward.